Come one, come all. It's time to grow. Welcome to the Dorian Adams Motivation Show. On this channel, we focus on faith, family, finances, friends, and fitness. Today, I want to start by thanking the God of my creation, the God of my understanding for bringing me another. Okay, there it is. So yeah, I just want to thank the God of my that I enjoy and embrace for just showing me another day. I'm so grateful and so humble. And I just look to express that sentiment in my actions. I want to thank you, brothers, for being on the call. Let me dive into the topic. The topic I chose is, what is your expectation? And for me, that's such a profound topic. But I'm going to give you a little bit of insight into where I was coming from with that by first going over the definition. The definition of expectation, this is just a Google search, so you're probably going to get something similar wherever you're looking at. But the first thing that comes up, it says expectation, a strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future. I like that. So the thing about when I say, what is your expectation? I just want to frame it like this. As a man, I have expectations for almost everybody that I come in contact with in one way or another, right? And I feel like when I have those expectations, it is a realistic expectation for the most part, because I've calculated who I'm dealing with, I've calculated the situation I'm in, things of that nature, right? So it's may not be a far gone like expectation, but okay, if you're the guy at the cash register, when I walk in, I expect you to take my money and handle my purchase, right? So this is an expectation in a small way. But if we shift the focus and just say, guess what? What is my expectation of myself, right? And what we want to do is zoom in and get laser focused on what that means for you, just even in a snapshot. So what I'm gonna do, we got a handful of people on the call. I'm gonna go around, and I'm gonna hit you with the question, and I need you to let me know what you feel like your expectation is of yourself. We go Zach. All right, Zach.
All right, can you all hear me?
Listen.
All right.
Zach.
Yo.
What is your expectation of what is the expectation you have for yourself in the area of faith?
Be true to myself, be true to my daughter. Just wake up and know that every day is a new day. That's all I can expect. You know, right now I got some hard times going on, but when I wake up in the morning, my eyes open. I say to myself, what are we going to do today? You know, what's going to happen? And what I expect is me to be true to myself, true to my little girl, and be true to the people around me. And that's really all I can do. The world will come as it comes. And as long as I can do that, then we'll take whatever comes.
All right. So what does it mean to you to fulfill that expectation?
To teach my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
To see that she can see her father through trial and tribulations and things that she has no idea about with my life yet. To be a strong person, to relay that strength to her, of not just strength of being, but learn to be better. It's an expectation of a father. That is my biggest thing now. Is you know, when my expectation of my own bio father was shit. He was not a good person. He was not a good father. I have to be better. I have to be better than I was yesterday. And every day that I wake up, I have to be better, at least a little bit, and find something to teach my daughter, at least a little extra every day. That's what I expect out of myself. And if I can do that, I'm okay.
That's fire. That's fire. All right. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, man.
All right. Jay, what is your expectation of yourself in the area of finance?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. As I got, when I was younger and would come across money, being a younger guy, it was always just, what can I buy? What can I do with it? You know, what can I spend? What car can I get? What rims can I get? And just as I've really gotten older and I start to look around, you know, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm getting a lot older, become a lot more frugal, a lot more careful with my purchases. I've gotten very much into investing and planning for my future, and really realizing that I'm not getting any younger. You know, trying to set it up so that way when, you know, I am in my 60s, my 70s, I'm still blessed to be here. I do got a good nest egg, and really trying to lay the foundation, you know, for my future and my kids' future. Something that I really started to think really heavily about probably like the past 6 years, and really started to get really intentional about that aspect of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I always just thought I was gonna be young forever. I'm young forever. You know, I was in my 20s and I got in my 30s, and I said, "Oh shit, oh shit." Now it's a goal of mine. Before, it never was in my 20s. Fuck no, just kicking it, partying, buying stuff, and as I got older, you know, I realized that something really just clicked in me. I don't know if it was the maturity, but something really, a light bulb went on in my head. And I realized this was something that I had to get serious about, and something that I had to get intentional about. It's my expectation of myself with my finances, and what I've been learning about finances, trying to pass that on to my kids. You know, I didn't have a good financial education when I was coming up, when I was young. You know, I was birthed to a 14-year-old mother, you know, so we kind of like came up and kind of struggled together. And a lot of these things I just learned over time through trial and error, from reading books, you know, learning from others. I realized, I said, you know, this is where I came from, but I couldn't use that as an excuse, because nobody was going to have pity for me, and nobody was going to take care of me like I was going to take care of me. So like I said, this information now, I'm passing it on to my children, so that way they might not struggle the way that I did early on in my adulthood.
All right. Where do you feel like you are the strongest representation of financial literacy, or you know what I mean, like in your financial representation of your expectation? How do you feel like you show that the most?
I really show that, how do I really show that the most. I've gotten a lot. I talk to my kids a lot about savings. I talk to them a lot about credit, how to use credit, how not to use credit. Just because the credit card has a $5,000 limit, that ain't your money. You gotta pay that. You gotta pay that back to the bank. If you do need a credit card, you do use a credit card. Make sure whatever it is that you put on that credit card, you pay that back before the next billing cycle. And talk to the kids about putting something away every time you get paid. Every paycheck. And my daughter, I could say, my son, he's not quite there yet. He had a summer job and kind of blew all his money. My daughter, she's pretty good with her finances at a really young age. So I'm just trying to rub that information off on them. But I'll be real with you, man. I'm still learning. I'm still growing in this aspect. I'm not a finished product yet in this, but I could say me now at 40. My financial literacy is a lot better than it was at like 25 or even 30.
All right. Appreciate that, man. All right. We'll go Tim.
Come on, wanted to jump in.
I see. Tim, we want to introduce you with your expectation of yourself with your family.
I think that's an excellent question. God has really, in my little old 60 years here, really humbled me. And, there's a word that says, many are the plans in the mind of a man, but it's the purpose of the Lord that will stand.
Mm-hmm.
And, regardless of whether my expectations are met, I can trust that God's purpose will always prevail, and God's purpose is greater than my expectation. And so I've learned, it took a while, took time, but I trust him. It's interesting. I kind of use my life now like Forrest Gump. You know how Forrest Gump never planned to go on the adventures that he went on, but he went on the adventures.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was just a raw belief there. There was a raw faith there that allowed him to go to places that he never planned, that he never, sat down and strategized. And that's what I've discovered about the Lord. The word says that he knows his plans for me, not to hurt me or to harm me, but to give me a hope and to give me a future. And once I got settled there, right? That's when my expectation. Now, of course, there is a responsibility that tells us to run with perseverance this race, keep your eye on the prize. But the goal is the ultimate goal. See, I believe that there's something that we say in the faith community, which is called the doxology. And it says, unto him who is able to keep us from falling and to present us faultless before his throne with exceeding joy. And we used to always just say that just to be saying it because it was the end of service. But one day I thought about that. Now unto him who's able to present, that word present, to present me faultless before his throne. And I thought about that. I said, wait a minute. God is preparing me to be presented before his throne. So everything that I'm going through now there's a purpose in it that's preparing me to be presented before his throne with exceeding joy. And then I said, well, present me for what? What do you present? What do you get me ready for? What are you preparing me for? What are you going to present me for? And that's when my whole life began to change, because once we answer that question, once I was able to understand that, my whole purpose and expectation changed. And it no longer was just a horizontal. Yes, I have to take care of my wife. Yes, I have to take care of my kids. Now that I'm in the grandpa stage, the legacy stage, yes, the Bible says I'd be worse than an infidel if I don't leave an inheritance for my children's children. Mm-hmm. And so I'm in that legacy stage now, right? So yes, those are the horizontal expectations and responsibilities, but I could have never got that right if I didn't have that vertical expectation right. It was only till that vertical got right that I was able to start getting this horizontal in place. And so my expectation is God's plan, and to be obedient to his will, and to, you know, consecrate and sacrifice and really crucify myself, which is hard. I'm gonna tell you, that's hard. Crucifying yourself daily ain't no easy thing to do. That's the you know, there's nothing good in the flesh, nothing. You know, I used to think that after a while, temptation would become easier and all these other things will become easier because, you know, I'm walking this faith walk. But I discovered that ain't true. The higher you grow in the faith walk, the more devious the flesh try to get.
Mm.
You know, and so I've got my expectation is to walk in a way in the horizontal to where I'm honoring God in the vertical, so that one day I can be presented faultless before his throne. And that's a daily walk. That's a daily fight. That's a daily, hourly fight, right? But the truth of the matter is, and I was telling the youth today at the school, Dorian, you know, everything's a test. It's all a test, you know, and if we can't pass the high school test, how are we going to pass the college test? And how are we going to pass? Because, you know, this world is crazy. This world will chew you up. Well, we already know that. And so everything is getting you ready for that next step, and is getting us closer and closer to where I believe we will ultimately rule and reign with God for 1,000 years on this planet. I believe that. That's my faith, you know, walk and tradition. But that's my expectation.
All right. What does it mean to you to fulfill that expectation?
Well, I can't fulfill it. Only God can fulfill that. So my trust is in him. My hope is, you know, again, these are, you know, things we say in the church. My hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and his righteousness. Once I start putting credence in me, once I start elevating me, once I start entering into self-aggrandizement, oh me and what I deserve, that's when I start slipping. That's when I start slipping. That's when I start really slipping. Is that?
I won't change it up on you. So if your expectations are in him and your faith, what does your faith expect out of you?
Oh, that's a good question. So, you know, what is faith? And again, I try
not faith as a general, your faith.
Mhm.
Because remember, last time we had a conversation, I kind of dropped the mic. You know, faith belongs to each individual as far as I'm concerned. And everybody has faith. What does your faith expect out of you?
So it's how I stand. So when I look at the definition of my faith tradition, faith is the substance of things hoped for. It's the evidence of the things I cannot see. So when I break down that word substance, sub meaning under, like subterranean or subway, and then stands, a simple way of standing. So what's under me that I'm standing on?
Right.
What am I standing on for the things that I'm hoping for? And, you know, I believe that the word of God and his foundation is the solid ground that I need to stand on for the things that I hope for. Because if I start standing on shaky ground, then, you know, there's going to be instability there. And so I've got to stand on what I believe is the solid rock, and I believe that solid rock is Christ. I believe the solid rock from, you know, everything that now through my study and my walk and my experience, there is no other solid rock than Jesus Christ. And it doesn't mean I'm perfect. It doesn't mean I'm doing everything right. But the fact that I'm planted on the solid rock allows me to endure the winds and the storms. And so my house, it gets blown on. The winds hit it. It just don't get knocked down because it's on a solid rock. And so my faith is that substance of what I stand on. It's not in me. It's not in me.
What did it expect out of you?
Well, you know, I believe the reasonable expectation is obedience, which is difficult. It's submission, which is difficult, which is being humble, which is difficult. All the things I don't want to do. Expectation. Everything that I do not want to do, that's the expectation. And so I got to rely on something greater than me to do that. And but what's amazing is, now that I've been walking this thing for a while now, there's joy there. There's peace there. There's security there. There's hope there. There's power there. There is, resource where now it's not you're just living for you. You can be a blessing to other people. And so those are the benefits, of course, of the sacrifice and the obedience and the being steadfast and unmovable and always abounding in the things of God. That's where the consistency comes from. And I'm convinced, I wouldn't have made it to 64 without that. That wouldn't have happened. I know it wouldn't happen. Now, yeah, I have a wife who has a lot of expectation, 36-year marriage. I got kids, a lot of expectation. What is their expectation? They expect me to be here. They expect me to be right. They don't expect to come home. Where's Pops? Oh, he's been gone for 4 days. See, that was 20 years ago. That was 20 years ago. Where's Dad? I don't know. I don't know where your dad is. That was 20 years.
Well, you said something I found to be really beautiful. What was it? I believe you have to rely on something greater than you to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is one hell of a statement.
No,
That's a very powerful statement. And I appreciate you saying that, because that's life.
it's life.
Yeah.
When I went to U-Turn for Christ, they called us a bag of rocks.
Mm-hmm.
A bag of rocks. Dorian?
All right. So I wanted to keep everything going. I like that because you deposited some powerful sentiment into the conversation.
No doubt.
Well, I want to introduce Kapil.
Phil.
And the thing is, I want to warm it up with the brother. Hit me up, with an idea, and he asked me about the ark. He brought that up, and so, because I know we didn't talk about it again, but the thing is, what I want to do at this point is ask you, because I know you talked about the ark and you said you want to talk about the ark. So I got a question for you. What? Because he was saying something about if you had to build your own ark, right? Kapil?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is your expectation of the ark that you have to build?
My expectation of this arc that I'm trying to build, it's not what you think that it is. Like, in society where they've showed us like, oh, there's a great flood happening, right? Well, the ark is not about, it's not about like you do is the new church, what I feel, is within us. God is in every one of us, right? So what we do is we need to tap into our connection with him. And once we do that, we build our own arcs within us. So when you keep doing that, you keep passing it on to people. And you say, you build your own ark. The ark is not just building a boat. The boat is in us. You build this boat, so then that way, when you're ready to go home, right? You go home. You get to go home. The people that you've already inspired to build that ark, they have to stay here to figure that out again. They have to figure it out, because they're like, hey, what did he do? Well, he did this. This is what he did. This is how he did it. And that's how they listen. That's how they listen. When you go home, they say, whoa, he got to go home and we're here still. And that's the whole point of us, is that we're so afraid of living. That's our problem. We're afraid of living our lives. No, you live your life here. You do everything you want, man. This is the place where you have fun. You know, and then I mean, like, this is a place where you enjoy everything. You enjoy the misery, you enjoy all this stuff, you know? And that's why we're doing this. We are part of this inspiration that we build in people. That's what I think it is.
Man, I got so many words for you right now, bro.
Go for it. Shoot.
Hey, I know y'all heard it too. I see it's like, hey, so first I want to welcome Phil in, man. That's my boy right there.
What's up, Phil?
Hi, Phil. What's up, man?
All right. So question I got for you with that art is, do you think it's gonna take a miracle for you to build that art?
No way. I'm already doing it right now.
Short and sweet. Y'all got something for him?
You know, being like in the millennial age, you would think that I would know how to get on the Zoom meeting, but now I can finally hear you guys, and I missed everything, but it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, guys.
No, just pick up after this, because we was like finishing up his what Kapil was sharing. So who got some feedback for Kapil?
I'm sorry, hang on.
I got some.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brother, that's it. That is it. It is your own arc. It is to bring the people together. That's what the arc was about. The animals, everything, all life. It even goes back and even all the way back to old Tibet. You know, for the new people here, not religious. I'm Buddhist. Enjoy religion. Enjoy all aspects of religion, and I find all the common things of religion, which is why I love it. Now, when you talk about the ark, what was the ark? He said to build the ark, bring two of everything, men, female, so that life could start again. Well, the way you just described it as your personal ark, it's beautiful, man. That, to me, that's what that story always said to me. It was, it's art for you. Who are you going to bring with you? Are you going to bring the poor and the rich together? Are you going to bring everybody? Or are you just going to bring? You have to build your own art for your own soul. You know, it's a way of life of building something for your, I guess as you would say. It's just my view, just my opinion. But man, downright, that was great.
Yeah, that was fire. That was fire. Jay, give me something on that. Give me something on that art, man, because hey, that woke something up.
Yeah, man. It you know, definitely, man. For me, it hit deep. I can definitely resonate with what she's saying and how you explained it, and like the arc, and like the arc is like your arc, like they say, your arc is different than mine. It's different than Dorian's. It's different than Zachary's, and that's something I try to explain to other people, because sometimes I get caught up in talking to friends and family, and people are asking me, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? That might not work for you. You're taking this risk. You're taking this gamble. But I say, you know, this is my thing. This is my purpose. You know, this is my path, and your path is different. I feel sometimes people get caught up in life of not living in their purpose because they're so, you know, afraid of society, what people are going to think of them and want them to do, and it's your own, it's your own path. Everybody's way, everybody's path, everybody's arc is different. You got to live life for your own purpose, your own arc. That's what's gonna truly make you happy.
Thank you, Jay.
Shit.
And you know, Jay, you know, you told me, man, you inspired me too. See, that's the thing about like this program that we're doing right here, is that you inspire me about how you're teaching your kids about how to manage their money and how to do all these little things that they never teach us in school.
Right.
Well,
Never
why the
learned it.
fuck did they not do that?
Right.
Because they're trying to enslave us,
Right.
you know. And so that's the problem that we have with the powers that be, that they're enslaving us to listen to what they think is what's right.
Right.
But we're not. I'm not doing that. I'm not conforming to these people, because you know why? My arc is my arc. Stay the fuck away from my arc, and you build your own motherfucking arc.
Real quick, piggyback off that real quick.
Yeah.
The one thing I never really hear people truly ask each other. I've never heard this in school. Do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Are you happy? People will ask questions like, you know, are you married? Do you got this? Do you got that? You know, stacking you up based on these society status quos.
Right.
But the one thing that's never put into the status quo that I feel was like the most important one of all, are you really fucking happy?
Yeah.
Alright.
That's the one thing that people don't ask. You know, or you say, hey, how you doing? You know, every time you do that to people, you know what they say? Oh, I'm good. I'm good. But really, are they? But really, are they? No, they're not. They don't know how to express themselves. That's the
Yeah.
problem with our society. They've told us that no, suppress all your emotions. Do not do that. Otherwise, it's a sign of weakness. They will try to get you. Well, guess what? My weakness is, I mean, my that's my sign of strength, is my weakness. The strongest link in the chain is the weakest link in the chain. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because it's only as strong as its weakest link.
Yes.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So real quick, I know you had something, Tim. You had something quick.
Okay, here we go. Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead if you gotta move.
Okay, so man, I appreciate what y'all saying, man. Like I'm so full over here, bro. I could just jump up and do a damn backflip. But so I just wanted to just say, just point the finger at myself for a minute. Because we talking about what is your expectation. And I'll start by saying this. I wrote a book called He's Able. And it talked about what I feel like is my evolution to becoming who I am today, and standing on the ground that I stand on today. And that whole evolution was ushered in by miracles that happened in my life that nobody but God could have did. The God that I understand. So I'm gonna just say it like that. And because of that, when I say what my expectation is, like I got a fucking attitude about that. Let me just say that, because I mean that shit. When I say I expect a miracle, it's because that's all God done showed me that he can fucking do. That's all he done showed me, bro. And when I say I'm damn dead ass serious about that, man, I mean, he didn't open my eyes up to the reality that all of those miracles that he did, that I escaped death, he didn't open my eyes up to that for nothing. He didn't let me live through all those situations for nothing. He did not let me live through all those days in between the damn miracles that I saw for nothing. See, because every day that he woke me up was a miracle, just like today. So when I say, what is my expectation of myself. I base it on what I believe and who I believe in. I trust and believe in the Creator, because if nothing else is real on this earth that I ever come in contact with, I know He created the earth, the sun, the moon, the stars, and I know all these whales in the ocean is His. My kids is His. My family is His. So me just being blessed and given the opportunity to live another day is a miracle. So just let me preface that with this. Because of that miracle and how grateful I am, I expect nothing but miraculous stuff out of my lowly, sorry self. Right? I expect nothing but miracles. So guess what? It might not look like something that Jesus did. It might not look like something that Moses did. It might not look like nothing that anybody else did. My ark may be different than you ever seen. But because of how grateful I am, I'm gonna do whatever He's asking me to do with the most energy, effort, and intention, the purest intention I can ever muster. Just because I'm a walking miracle.
I will.
I appreciate y'all for letting me rant.
No, that and that was gonna be that was gonna be my interjection. You know, we are miracles. When we look over our life, there's only one word that you can put to it.
Mm.
To be here today, that's a miracle. You know, and I like what you said, Kapil, is that how you say your name?
Yes,
In
sir.
terms of the analogy of build, because the ark symbolizes safety. You know, building, protecting your family from harm, that's safety. Protecting your own mind from harm, that's safety. Protecting your own heart from harm, that's safety. You know, and that's the analogy of an ark. You know, bringing, you know, your loved ones and the people that you care about into safety, because you know the storms that's out there, you know the floods that's out there, you know the danger that's out there, and all of our arcs, like you said, Dorian, are different, you know, but the basic, you know, gist of the arc is safety. Are you safe? And are you in a place to keep your family safe? You know, and then are you in a position? I like what you also said is when you transition up out of here, have you prepared a way where they're still safe even though you're gone? That's some true safety right there. When you can leave a legacy for your children's children where they're still safe even though you transitioned out of here. So I like that analogy of the ark, and are we providing an ark for our families?
Mm-hmm.
Starting with protecting our own minds, protecting our own hearts, protecting our own sanity. I mean, I tell you, if it wasn't like you said, Dorian, if God hadn't intervened in my life, I'd be standing in that corner talking to myself.
Yeah.
That's where I'd be, if I would still be alive. So I love that comment. I love that analogy. I remember that in terms of the ark. You know,
we gotta rewind that tape
yeah.
and remember, in order to project. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The miracle happened for you to get here.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't you expect a miracle?
Yeah. And building that ark.
All.
Building that ark was a miracle. What plans did He have to do that?
Exactly.
He didn't have no ark plans. He didn't have no schematic.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you see this as a
Up on the
recurring,
mountain, saw a burning bush, and God spoke to him.
right, right. No, and that's the whole thing. See, we hitting on the same nail, man. We all hammers right now. Right? Look, if that has been recurring historically, time after time after time, what make you think, why would you even fathom that you could walk around here and do nothing?
Right.
and just, oh, that's all I gotta do. Man, go lay down. Go lay down, man. You on the wrong ride.
Even as a Buddhist, since the beginning of written history, and Brother T will attest to this because he knows, since the beginning of all written history, human beings have always had faith in something that a higher power above them, no matter what it is, no matter what you think. You know, me as a Buddhist, I think of the earth. You know, people that believe in God and Jesus, they think of the God and Jesus. You know, you think about aliens, what have you. There is always, since the beginning of written history, if you go back way past Ezekiel, there is written history where people have always had faith in a higher power above them. And I think as society, we've lost that. You know, you don't have to have one common faith. I think as in faith itself, I think we've lost that. But we've always had that. And people forget that.
You know, it's
They
interesting.
don't know.
It's interesting. Oh, go ahead.
Phil.
Go ahead.
Phil,
Yes.
my brother.
Hi, brother.
How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Everybody.
Y'all, I want to introduce y'all to Phil, man.
Hey, Phil.
I'm gonna say this to just give you a brief introduction of the brother. He ain't here for no reason. Hey, Shelby. This brother is a Swiss Army knife, man. You know, I mean, he'll talk for himself, but you know, I just always want to talk somebody up and let him know that I appreciate, I value you, man.
Likewise.
You saw the it's called, the topic is called what is your expectation? And you heard a little bit, but if you just share where you at right now with what you got from the conversation so far, that'd be cool with me.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and one thing that I definitely think being happy is a building block. That is something to identify with, that is positive. But happiness is an emotion that fluctuates. So with happiness comes anger, comes sadness, comes brokenness, and happy is a temporary emotion. And the thing that I believe to strive for would be peace. And if you think about peace, I don't mean it like on like a worldly level where there's just like a war and we have peace. Like what is truly peace? And I've learned that peace could be, you know, sitting in a jail cell with inmates coming in and praying over the ones that come in and start a conversation of how can I pray for you, not being fazed by, you know, what landed me there, why I'm in it, or where I'm going next, but it's actually being able to lift somebody up in a very dark situation. So it's like having peace when you don't have any financial resources, when you're honestly $10 to your name or even broke. How can you have peace in that? And or having peace in like you know, just calamity. And I think that's, like I said, happiness is a great building block, but where is the substance? And I believe peace is the substance. And you know, with hardship and pain, it produces knowledge and wisdom. And I believe that I've been able to obtain that by God, by Jesus. And being able to have peace is beyond our understanding. And being able to have peace is something that the Lord will bless us with and give to us. But like I said, I think that, you know, we all have to start somewhere, and we are on our individual journeys, building our own arcs and such. But also too, you know, to live a life of the Lord in whom I follow, Jesus, is not to condemn anyone. It's not to judge anyone. It's not to tell anyone they're right or wrong, but it is to be an example of what God has done for me, to show and expose others the change that I've experienced within the Lord. And, you know, like I said, everybody has their time, their purpose, and a place. But I truly believe that, you know, as the gentleman Zachary was saying, and, you know, Timothy, we all acknowledge that there is God. There is God without a doubt. And the thing about God too is the people that don't acknowledge God is still a threat to them. How can you acknowledge something that's not a threat? They're so fixated on taking out something that they don't believe exists, right? And I see that all the time within people that are opposing or anything of that factor. But no, that's kind of just where I'm touching base on here in the conversation. And you know, I think it's incredible what Dorian does and puts together, and how he'll take a group of men with different perspectives, but we all come to a very similar conclusion or agreement, you know. And whether it just be men trying to build themselves to be a better man, or whether it's a man of faith trying to get closer to God, we're all moving in a positive direction, and we're moving forward to take knowledge and wisdom and exchange that with each other. I think it's a great thing that Dorian does that. And, you know, it's a privilege to be sitting here with all you men.
I said, in the church said amen.
And the church said amen. What?
Same here. You know, I told Dorian last week after we got off, I sent him a text message, and I basically said that as a Buddhist, you know, it's very difficult to have conversations when it comes to religion with people because, well, most people are very biased.
Mm-hmm.
But since we have started this, what I told him last week was, I have never in my entire life had such a wonderful time having conversations with strangers that included religion. There was no, oh, you do this, you need it. No, it was just everybody had their faith, their part, as they do today. And we all get along. And I just, you know, I think about that, and these Tuesdays, I actually look forward to them now. Because I just, man, you know, I told my therapist today in a meeting, I have PTSD and I have a therapist, and I told her today about these meetings, and she was astonished. And it's like, why can't we have more of this for everyone? I just want to say that.
Hey, I was gonna chime in for a second here. I want to hear the iPhone guy up there. Just try. Hey, iPhone guy.
Who is that?
It's my buddy Cal.
Oh,
It's all right. But no, honestly, oh yeah, actually, you know what, Dorian? We were talking about how we're gonna raise money to where we can take these kids out to our to your thing. So let's talk about that. What's our expectations on that one?
Okay. Well, we'll definitely wrap it right here. I mean,
okay.
I wanted to hear from Tim. We'll go into that. But thanks for bringing that up.
What's going on?
Tim, what you got real quick?
no, it was interesting when the word happiness and the transformation that, you know, occurred. Again, I'm a little older probably than most of you guys. And so in my 36 years of marriage, I went to this conference. Well, we go every year actually to Zephyr Cove in Lake Tahoe. And the speaker said something that stuck with me. And what he said was that marriage wasn't as much designed to make you happy as it's designed to make you holy.
Yeah.
And I stopped and I thought about that. Because, you know, just like what Philip said, you know, happiness, you know, that goes all kind of different ways. But it's not as much designed to make you, there's going to be happiness, of course. There's going to be joy and there's going to be fun. But really, it's really designed as a covenant to really make us holy. I know in my 36 years of marriage, I'm more of that straight and narrow now than I was before I got married. I was all over the place before I got married. And so I like the fact, yes, there's going to be happiness, but am I getting better? Are we getting better as fathers, as husbands, as significant others? As now I'm into, they call me Papa T. I call them my G grands, my grandbabies, I call them my G grands, and I'm Papa T. So entering into that stage, am I a good Papa T, leaving a good legacy that's not always happy, but real and right, and so, always, and I'm with you, Brother Zach, every Tuesday. You got to know I like this because I put the game on record, and I love my basketball, but I put my game on record to catch it after because I think this is very important. The respect, the honor, the ability to freely discuss and be transparent. That's powerful. That's very powerful. And so, like you said, Phil, and everybody said, Doran, I really appreciate your boldness and your anointing and your giftedness to really begin to unite brothers from all aspects of life to just have a conversation. That's pretty cool.
Thank you, brother. Thank you again. So just to say this part on the way out, I heard faith, of course, the expectations of my faith. I heard that on this call, right? I heard an expectation, not necessarily just faith, but expectation of a miracle because of your faith on this call. I heard expectation of a miracle over your finances on this call. Heard expectation of a miracle over your marriage, you just said, over on this call, right? And so many more nuggets came out information-wise that you brothers shared on this call. Here's the deal. The miracle of marriage, the miracle of my finances, the miracle of my faith, all can happen. It all can happen. It's a foregone conclusion that can happen. Guess what it's gonna need? It's gonna need your ass. You got to say, I want it.
Yeah.
God ain't no cheese line God. He ain't just waiting line and you gonna get something for free. Everybody know that. Everybody know you got to put in some work. So when I get on these calls, I ain't tooting my own horn, but guess what? I'm tired of sitting there running around saying I'm expecting what happened to the next guy to happen to me. I'm expecting the miracle I ain't never seen before.
Amen.
It's a miracle that we all on this call. What? It wasn't me. It was a divine hand that created this interaction.
Amen.
So let's part ways with that, knowing that we was a part of that divine happening, and take it into our individual lives, bro. We are miracles happening, walking miracles.
No doubt.
But I can't sit there and have my hands stuck out. I told somebody the other day, we was talking about how God is the best ever businessman you will ever experience.
For real.
Now, where they come up with the thought? You running off with somebody money down the street, or they give you $50 or $100, they ain't gonna you ain't gonna have no shot back at that too soon, right? Can I get another 100? You just messed that up. Guess how many times you done messed up God money, right? But look how he'll double you up if you come back right with that. Who got the most resources? I'm gonna leave it alone.
What's
Anyway.
that? They put it in a movie. I forget it.
Hey.
It was you're out on a raft, you're alone, boat comes,
There you go.
and you say, "Come on the boat." He said, "No, God will save me." The boat leaves, and another boat comes. Said, "Get your ass on the boat." "No, God will save me." And then he dies, and he goes up to God, and God says, "What happened?" He says, "No, what happened to you?" He said, "Motherfucker, I sent 2 boats to save your ass."
Dumbass. Right? All
You know,
right.
it's
Hey,
the principle of listening to the universe.
yeah. Hey,
Good.
we're gonna wrap it right there, y'all. I did want to shout out Invest Apparel, my boy John's business. I want to shout out Brothers Doors and Glass, Windows and Glass.
Doors of glass.
Doors and Glass, I had it right. Shout out
Close enough.
Brothers Doors and Glass from my boy Phil.
Thank you.
And then we all got some type of business, but here's the deal. Stay tuned. We're going to do a men's / mentor event coming up in first week of January. Everybody on this call is invited, but be on the lookout. We're gonna it's gonna be a drive, donation drive to get the funds up. It's not gonna be a huge amount, but we want to put that participation in. It's gonna be for the youth. You know, this money ain't going in line. Nobody pockets. It's gonna pay for the exact expenses of getting the event taken care of. So I'll follow up with more information about that coming soon. I appreciate y'all for participating on the call, man.
Can we change the first week of January?
It is. That's what I said. June,
I know, but
June?
way we can change that, because I'm busy, but I would really love to help.
First week of
I'll come
January.
down. I know, but I'm gone.
Okay, well, it's gonna be more than one.
All right.
It's gonna be more than one.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you, man. I want to help out. So
Yeah, but we're gonna tap it right there and wrap it right there, man. Just once again want to acknowledge the God that I acknowledge God, how you express him, right? And thank you, man, for allowing us to be a miracle. Allowing us to be a miracle after he's given us the miracle of life one more time. Right?
I gotta ask Philip something real quick, because you said you do doors and glass.
Yes, sir.
You do
I'm
security.
gonna hook y'all up. I'm gonna hook y'all up.
Okay, give me. I gotta call you. I gotta
All
call. I need something where people can't see in on my doors.
I got you.
yeah, Dorian,
You got it covered.
let me get info with it.
All right, send it to me, Dorian.
Thanks, Timothy. I got you covered, brother.